Imagine a small blonde girl, her hair in bunches, flowers in her hair, hands clasped in front of her, batting her eyelashes. That is so not me. I am not a sweet little girl, a supplicant asking for something, someone to be kind to, someone you feel good about helping. But that little girl is what I realised I felt like after a recent meeting with NHS officials. They'd been very professional. They'd ensured any sensory distortions I might have about the room had been accommodated, and they were clearly listening hard to everything I said. One of them carefully took notes. From time to time they checked their understanding with me. And their response had been great. I'm going to find out what's going on. They discussed who she'd talk to. She'd get something done. And she made sure that I learnt she was new in the job, an unspoken explanation for all the appalling things I'd set out for her, the NHS failures and lack of services in Norfolk for people with autism. My message had hit its target. They commended my passion. Someone was going to do something. So what was niggling? Now, I'm not good at theory of mind, so I might have got this totally wrong, but this is what I think was going on. People like to feel good about themselves. That's human nature. One surefire way to feel good about yourself is to be kind to someone. X is a problem, which means they're less well off than you, so you feel good about yourself as you help, which makes you feel superior to them. You know, the oh, thank God it's them and not me feeling. So you donate to charity, you pop in on your elderly neighbour, you help out at the local Scouts group. What's wrong with that? Why shouldn't you be kind and help someone who needs help, especially if you're in exactly the right position to do so? Why? Because it's easier to be kind than to learn and to change. Karl Deutsch was a highly regarded political scientist who said, "Power is the ability not to have to learn." And he's right. Society, and especially the NHS, is set up so that there's one group who are in a position of power or authority, in my case neurotypicals, and another group over whom they have that power. There's the teacher, employer, counsellor, doctor or NHS official, all neurotypical, treating me, managing my case, or co-opting me onto a committee as the token patient service user Aspie, which means I'm always in a position of inferiority, the supplicant seeking help. I felt like a supplicant in that meeting, which meant I wasn't seen as an equal. These days, I don't think I'm ever seen as an equal. I think the officers I met tried really hard to do the right thing and tried to treat me as an equal. But I'm aware of the difference in how people treat me now when they think of me primarily as a patient service user Aspie, compared to when they met me before I was diagnosed, when I was a professional. In those days, I met people as a university lecturer or a BBC correspondent. I had the weight and authority of my employer and my knowledge and expertise behind me, and people treated me as an equal. Now, while this equal treatment was there in the awards and commendations I was given, it was especially there when they spat at me in the street. That was in Tameside during the Harold Shipman murders. Or when they filed complaints against me in the Alderhay organ retention scandal. Or warned each other that I was a snotty cow. That was Manchester Hospitals Trust press officer. Whether they liked my work or railed against it, the fact of my authority and my equality was never questioned. It simply never arose. But now I'm diminished. I have a mental health diagnosis. I'm no longer part of the privileged community, not part of the group which does things, but part of those who are done to. And while that's the case, no matter how nice the individual professionals are, they'll never need to make the effort to really shift their thinking and see people like me as equals. Different maybe, but nevertheless equal. They'll never need to learn much about autism and Asperger's, because that would need a level of humility to acknowledge that there are different ways to be human, and that their way, the neurotypical way, may not be the only way. That's uncomfortable, so most won't do it. It's nearly impossible for professionals to shift to what's become known as the neurodiversity paradigm. They've simply become too entrenched in the habit of seeing neurodivergent people as patient service user Aspie, and therefore inferior. But I don't think they realise this, the women I met. They just didn't fight the urge to be kind to me. They stayed in their comfort zone and carried on, all perfectly proper. But I don't want their kindness. I want them to do what's necessary for me to be accepted as a fully paid up person, just another member of society, but a society which makes it possible for me to access everything they have as easily as they can. Education, work, social services, the lot. Nowadays, NHS organisations make all the right noises about service user involvement, and some of their documents even talk about a shift in power. But I see no shift in power, just carefully measured out concessions. I really like the officials I met. I really hope they do try to change things, and I'll be properly grateful if they do. But wouldn't it be wonderful if I didn't have to be grateful? If it was just what the NHS did, because it was right. Thank you.